What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of All Things Super. I am one of your hosts, Spider, and I am joined by Mr. VIP Frankie Washington. How are you doing today, sir?
I am awesome infinitely.
Okay, changing it up a little bit.
Yeah, I put the front in the back and the back in the front. Infinitely awesome, infinitely. How are you, sir? What is that? What is that you're sipping on? Do we have a sponsor? Is that our sponsor? Are we sponsored by that can?
No, we're not. Unfortunately, no, we are not sponsored. No, but I'm doing great. I'm sipping on Coke. That's what I'm sipping on.
I'm gonna bring up our sponsor.
The sponsor we've had so far.
Hey. You're right.
If you don't know what this is,
better.
This is All Things Super, where every week we take a piece of super-powered movie, TV, even trailers. We watch them, we react to them, we break them down, we review them, and we answer the question, is it super?
Is it?
Is it?
Possibly. Is it? Could it be?
It could be, but we're going to find out. But if you like that, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you'll be notified when we have new episodes that come out. If you want the audio version of the podcast, just search for All Things Super on any of your major podcast streaming platforms. And if you want to join in on the conversation, you can tweet at us at ATSuperPod.
And we like reading the comments.
And we like reading the comments.
I didn't know. Here you go. What's going on?
It is a major blockbuster release weekend, or following a major blockbuster release weekend. In this episode, we are going to be discussing and reviewing James Cameron's newest feature film, Avatar: The Way of Water.
Wade in the water. In the water.
So, initial thoughts. Just what did we think of Avatar: The Way of Water?
Listen, I have Naboo water inside of this cup.
Navi. Naboo is Dr. Fate.
We're gonna get sued. You can't say that.
Okay. You can't reference the name of the species.
Got enchanted water inside of here. It's more like a cauldron.
Okay.
Okay. Tastes like alien.
That's gross.
Depending on the alien. I've seen some. It make you change your mind.
Okay.
Avatar, sir. Avatar. By the thumbnail, they know why they're here. So, at this point in time, I know all the new people. Hi. All the established ATS supporters. Welcome back. Clicked on it. You know who it is. It's us. You know what we do. So we're going to get into this Avatar. Can I do this for Avatar?
No. That has nothing to do with it.
Shazam. All right. So, I'm sorry. Black Adam. Whatever.
Oh, yeah. That's
completely different. I got you. Now
completely different.
100%. Yeah, I like to throw people off in the beginning before we get into the nits and gritty.
You do that very well.
I tried, man. It's not as easy as it looks. It seems easy. It's hard. But at the same time, this is Avatar. This was 10 years since the last Avatar. Man, just ask the question. Thank God we don't have to wait another 10 years for the next iteration of this story. But James Cameron has gone on record to say if this movie does not hit a certain pinnacle, it may be the last one, not this one, the next one. Even though we're signed on for how many? 5?
5, yeah. More than 10 years, actually.
Has it been more than 10?
Avatar came out in 2009. 13 years.
I'm glad you did that, Matt, because I wasn't about to do it.
It's
13 years for a sequel? What is this, The Incredibles? Disney.
That's fair. That is very fair.
Disney, I need you. If you're gonna own everything, Disney, I need you to come on with these iterations back to back. Come on, we're not getting any younger. Let's get into this Avatar because what I just noticed your atmosphere is looking little bluish over here. Oh
That's
no,
completely unintentional.
that's oil.
That's unintentional. No,
Let me see your tail. Let me see your tail if you're logged into one of those.
I'm not blue. Tell me what you thought about the damn movie.
I think. Listen, if you guys followed our show, and if you're really a faithful follower, you know we talked about Avatar way in earlier episodes. We've gone on record, at least I've gone on record saying that Avatar 1 was not an original story. It was bits and pieces chopped up to make a story. You had a little bit of Dances with Wolves, a little bit of Fern Gully, you had a little bit of Pocahontas. And they took all those components and they put it together and they made a visually aesthetic, beautiful rendition of James Cameron's own story with recycled material. And it's understandable. I got it. It was what it was. I went on record saying Avatar 1 was overrated. Not for the visuals. Visuals was spot on. It was amazing. It deserved to be number one. Visually, yes. Story-wise, and you know we're big on story here.
Mm-hmm.
No. This version of Avatar, though it had an incredible long runtime.
Incredibly long.
3 hours and 10 minutes. Was it 3:10 or was it 3:30?
3 hours and 12 minutes. 3:12.
Oh, I was off by 2.
Yeah.
So, James Cameron has gone on record defending his 3-hour runtime, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel, before we get into the nuts and bolts and nitty gritty on the stories, do you feel that was a justifiable runtime?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Oh my God. You don't think that he needed the 3 hours to tell a complete story?
He did not need the 3 hours to tell a complete story because the entire middle of the film was so overinflated with things that didn't even come into play at the end of the story. There was so much that could have been taken out.
Like what?
Are we getting into it? You asked the question you said before we get into it.
Be into it. Don't want to be into it. The was your chance to go back.
If you didn't know,
at this point in time,
that was your official spoiler warning. Everything from here on out, we're getting. We said in 2023. It's not 2023 yet. We got a couple more weeks. Right. But everything from here on out, we're going to be spoiling Avatar: The Way of Water. So
wait, let me get my water.
Anybody that's watching this video know that is not water.
Touch your face. Avatar 6, The Secret Goblets. It starts to write itself.
Does it though? Because I mean, if it did, then it would have came out. So, all right.
It came out shorter, not 3 hours.
Yeah, and it came out probably less than 13 years ago. But here's my thing.
What's your thing?
As we previously said before when we talked about Avatar was revolutionary for its time because of the use of CGI. This movie follows in that same trait. Way of Water is a beautiful film. Absolutely stunning. God. The visuals are unparalleled. You cannot take anything. This movie is going to win every single visual effects award that there is.
It made Aquaman look like it was done with crayons.
It made Aquaman look like it was done in the dark. Because you think about any movie that you see that there are underwater scenes, it's mostly always like either dark or at night, and so it has to be illuminated by machine lights. And
Anglerfish.
even Wakanda Forever, when they were doing the underwater scenes, it was always dark, right? They had to come up with a way to not pretend, but to create an artificial sun underwater in order to give them some light. Because of course, light gets diffracted the deeper you go underwater. It's going to be dark, which is understandable. But this is a beach scenario, and then when they were under the water, they were never really like deep underwater, like scuba diving deep under the water. Everything was like very shallow, very surface level, so the light from the sun would still shine through the water. And when you have that light, then you get to see the details of all the plant life, the sea creatures, everything that's going on underneath the water. And again, everything about this movie, as far as the visual effects are concerned, are top tier, number one, can't be beat.
What?
And you think about it, if James Cameron started working on, because I've heard, about as far as the timeline goes, as to after the first Avatar was released into when they started doing production on the second Avatar, On the Way of Water. If James Cameron had it in his head exactly what he wanted to do, even while he was working on Avatar, and he started working on it as soon as it was released, you got 13 years to be able to fine tune everything. Now, it's not to say that everything was perfect. There were some things that, kind of stuck out a little bit, as far as, CG interacting with real life. And that's to be understood because it's a transition in the two mediums. But as far as everything else goes, you have 13 years of fine tuning to make sure everything looks perfect. Whereas we talk about MCU, we talk about DC, and we talk about how their CG graphics always look a little bit funky, they look a little bit off, something doesn't look exactly right. It was the whole, argument about She-Hulk, about how She-Hulk didn't look good, but then some people say it looked too, Silicon Valley-ish. And you think that
Silicon Valley-ish.
Is it Silicon Valley? Yeah, I think it's Silicon Valley. When something looks too realistic, but it's not realistic, so it looks odd.
I mean, it's a lawyer,
right?
So,
but it's just like it's an unnerving thing, and we lost his camera. We'll get him back in just a second. It's a little unsettling to see something that is not supposed to be real, but it looks real. It's like, did you see Alita Battle Angel?
Of course I did.
So it's like, how the CG...
I will no longer stand by.
How like she was modeled to look like a real woman, but of course he had the anime eyes, so it kind of set her apart. Like, she's not an actual person. This is a CG person. But if they modeled her with normal eyes, she would look very similar to an actual person, because the CG was done so well that she started to kind of blend in with the actual real life environment around her. But that's what kind of the Silicon Valley thing is that, and it's something that's artificial, but it looks close enough to real that it's just a little, it's like it looks almost real, but it's just something that's off about it that you can tell that it's fake.
Robots frighten some people. In fact, there was a law, something that I've overheard somebody mumble about, so I don't know the validity of the statement of saying that this is back when iRobot came about. They were saying that they couldn't have the robot look too human. So there's always, like you said, something that has to be off, because it frightens people that artificial intelligence can be human.
Us. Right.
That replaces us. And that's threatening to us. We don't like it. It scares us. Don't do that. Now we have blue people.
Right.
Slightly blue people. It's so cool because they have the underwater lids blinking this way. Kind of didn't see that since Men in Black. two sets of blinking and weird fins on their forearms and black tails.
Why they gotta be weird?
Not
That's just
weird
an evolutionary
them.
trait.
Them, yes. Let me check my forearm real fast. Oh, this thing can't swim in the water. Sink like a rock.
You can swim, but it's not as effective as the beach people. I want to pronounce the name. It's like it seems almost like it seems almost like butchering a Native American tribe name because it's sort of like derived from that. Well, not necessarily Native American, but sort of like Samoan, Maori people, like Polynesian descent, because of course that's what they were kind of mirrored off of, because you saw that they were kind of like doing a haka almost when they were getting like upset. They were like yeah, all of that. So of course that's the you know,
I was ready to go to war after that. I was ready too. I was like, come on, let's fight. Let's go, baby. And then Mr. Jake was like, well, we're not going to get into it yet. Unless you're ready to get into it. Because you're still saying what you didn't really care about.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that
it's not justifiable runtime.
The whole middle part of it is like, I understand that they had to, in order for them to integrate themselves into the tribe, and I need to get the name of it, the Metkayina tribe. The Metkayina tribe, and these are the people that were the island tribe. In order to integrate, in order for Jake and Neytiri and their kids to be able to integrate themselves into the Metkayina tribe, they had to be able to keep up, which Jake said that they promised that they would. They would carry their own weight, they would keep up, because the Metkayina saw them as they wouldn't be able to swim fast. They would be slow in the water because they were not raised in the water. They were raised in the forest. And so the training montage of the kids, like learning to hold their breath underwater, learning to, I don't even know what they call with the tail thing with the animals, whatever they do, whatever that's called, they had to do that with sea creatures.
Put their tail on.
Well, not their tail, but their braid. Yeah. So I don't know what that's called, but they had to go through that. They had to go through all of that.
Wi-Fi connection.
They had to connect to the animals. We saw Jake sort of learning as well, and so we get that. But then we get other scenes of just showing off the world, right? Showing off the sea life, showing off the water, showing off the environment under the water and everything, kind of going like exploratory and everything. And I'm not saying that that's not needed, but I'm saying it could have been shortened. That would have taken out, you probably could have gotten this movie under 3 hours if we were taking out some of those establishing shot scenes where it's so grandiose, and these scenes where we're going through the different areas, running through the trees, swimming underwater. You know, it's stuff that could have been taken out. I feel like in a lot of parts, a lot of these scenes are just overinflated just so it can show off the graphics, which, yes, the graphics are great, but you can still show off the graphics and not have to extend the shot to where it's 45 seconds of us looking at something, but nothing's really going on to propel the story forward.
How dare you Zack Snyder this movie?
How am I Zack Snyder in the movie? James Cameron's Zack Snyder the movie.
That's what he did for the Zack Snyder's Justice League. He slowed stuff down,
and extended it and made it 4 hours for no reason.
It's like 9 hours for that in for that rendition. No, I actually agree with you on the situation. I think a lot of the stuff could have been cut in the middle. The establishing one that I'm referring to was the orca whale. No, it wasn't an orca whale, but you know, it was real Free Willy.
The Toucan.
The Toucan whale. Mm-hmm. And what's Jake's son, youngest son?
Loat or Loat?
So when they were bonding, Oak and Takun were bonding. We
Mm-hmm.
got it. Like the first when you pulled out the little harpoon fin thingy from his fin,
I want to talk about
finding
that.
finding Nemo missing a fin, so you got to feel for him even more. So okay, I got it. They're
Mm-hmm.
friends now. They're best friends. You're an outcast. I'm an outcast. Right then, when
Now
he
let's go
says,
swim for 6 hours.
why are you an outcast? Okay, I can tell you right now. I don't have to wait for you to go back, get my backstory that's wrong from somebody else, or you to
Mm-hmm.
come back out, look for me come back, and you to ask me again, why am I an outcast? And then I'm like, open my mouth so like you can swim in it, pause, and then you can connect with your little Wi-Fi signal to my little dangly thing inside my mouth. I want you to hit that in the back of my Cardi B.
Stop!
What I'm saying,
No,
what I'm saying is, all that could have been condensed down. If he would have did it right when he first asked him, then you would have got your answer right then and there. Would have gave you more confirmation that he's not a murderer, he's not a killer. But don't push him because he'll free Willy right out that water and land on the boat and start slapping the shit out of everybody that's in his way. He bitch slapped a lot of guys.
he
Oh
did.
my god. Why did James Cameron make us the bad guys? Like humans the bad guys. I guess that they
Because
had them
humans are
the
the
bad
bad
guys.
guys. Humans have been the bad guys since the
Okay,
beginning of the franchise. Humans were the bad guys in
okay.
the last movie.
Here we go. You're absolutely right, sir. Let me just tell
But
you
this,
that.
no, but I agree with you because this movie dialed it up to like 50 because
Oh
it
my
was
god.
like it went beyond 10, beyond 11. It was almost 100. It just made it
Oh,
look like humans have no regard for
empathy.
anything.
What?
The
Don't even know what empathy means.
when the people first came in and they just came in with these huge rockets and just burned everything
Decimated
around,
everything in his
decimated,
face.
didn't try to be careful, didn't be like, oh well, let's try to land in an isolated area where there's no Navi, where there's no wildlife. They're like, nope, just land right in the middle of the forest, set everything on fire.
Boom, we here. What's up?
And then you get Quaritch. Then you get Quaritch. He's looking for Jake, and he's basically going like straight, just crazy. It's like Spider is telling them they don't know anything. These people don't know. He has not been here. He's like, all right, I'm gonna shoot this one in the head.
I know
like,
lies when I hear
they
lies.
don't
Like,
know
what?
anything. He's like,
You
all
don't
right,
even
they don't
speak
know
the
anything.
language.
He's not here. All right, fine, burn everything down. And it's like,
Yeah.
why? And then you got the
Oh,
whale
shit.
hunters, just like all of that they go through to separate the mother whale from the rest of the pod, get her isolated, just shooting her with like they basically deafened her like with the sonic things. They deafened her, they spiked her,
Right?
they harpooned her, and then after all of that, just straight up blew her up to drill into the roof of her mouth, get like the brain fluid, and then like, all right, the rest of it can just rot. Like at first I thought, I'm like, oh okay, well they're hunting them because they have all the people on the planet now, so they need to feed them, and these are the largest animals, so they're cutting them up.
No,
Nope.
no.
Pull the brain fluid
Not
out
at all.
because this makes age
Stop
reducing serum.
aging.
People stop aging in this one. And how much? I'm trying to remember how
Wonder
much
how
they
long
said.
they have to take it though. Like I know
Who
it's not a
knows?
one shot thing. It stops aging, so maybe
Right.
it is a one shot thing. This is the new Botox.
Essentially, but I'm trying to remember how much they said that the unobtainium was going for, because I think they said that the one vial of the brain fluid was like 80 something million, something like that.
Like 80 million.
But I feel like the
Yeah.
unobtainium was like worth way more than that.
The whole planet is full of resources.
It is. But what was happening was Dr. Grace, played by Susan Sarandon in the first movie, she said that the planet is full of resources, but their most potent resource, the untapped resource, is the spiritual connection that every living thing has with each other. Like they all operate together. There's this hive mind of interconnectivity. And we saw that when they, at the beginning of the movie, when they were trying to sky people, were trying to infiltrate the forest. And it was basically like, you know, somebody was in the trees, like everybody just, and they just converge on them like, hey, you know, they're rolling up the block, everybody gotta strap up, we gotta get ready, everybody roll out and just take them out. And then when Quaritch comes in, because Quaritch is a Na'vi now, they've implanted his memories into an artificial Na'vi body, so he's an avatar. And now they showed him when he was infiltrating the forest that the like the hounds or the dogs or whatever, they saw him, they were like, sniff him out, they're like, oh, okay, nah, he's cool, he's one of them, and they just left him alone. And so it's like you have these bodyguards in the forest now because they're on high alert because they know that there are these outside threats. So, and it's like, it's not like Jake had to communicate with the animals like, okay, I got to put you on patrol and all this other kind of stuff. It's like they know, they see everything else that's happened to the forest. They saw the world tree get knocked down, you know, and all this other kind of stuff. So they know that they're trying to protect their land. But yeah, humans just come in and just like don't care about anything. It was depressing. It was really depressing at some parts.
After the movie, I had to go and look at myself in the mirror. Like, would you really want this whale oil?
But then the thing about it is, you know, that the people that are buying it, either one, don't know the process that it has to go through in order to get them, and two, if they do know, they're the type of people who have enough money. It was like, I don't care, I'm just going to pay for it, and it has nothing to do with me. This is not on my planet.
Live forever.
Exactly.
Well, we've learned in this movie, Earth's resources have been tapped out,
and we need to find a new home world,
new sustainable home world. Which, you know what that means? Only the wealthy will take that Pandora trip.
Right.
And once they get there, then they'll repopulate once they're there. I don't know, Spider. I don't know. This movie, 3 hours and 12 minutes. I can tell you guys this. This episode won't be 3 hours and 12 minutes.
You're welcome. Absolutely not. You don't have to worry about that in no episode.
We're picking up with the Sullys. Jake and Neytiri had
they were going at it
a lot. They procreated, but not all the kids are theirs. They do have an adopted daughter from Grace. And then they have Spider, which is a kind of adopted cousin. I went into this movie totally blind. I tried my best to stay away from the spoilers or the trailers. Even the trailers that I did see accidentally, I question, because I think we reviewed a trailer. Did we?
No, we didn't. We didn't do it for Avatar.
I saw a trailer drunken somewhere. I don't know how that happened. Drinking just makes trailers happen and makes them better. Drinking
your alien water.
Hey, this is native water to Pandora. Okay, it's not alien. You're there. When you're there, you're family.
When you're there.
Nice. All right, so I went into it totally blind. Even the trailer that I saw, I was like, somewhere along the line, Jake gets a haircut. And I was like, why did Jake get a haircut? Why did Jake get a tattoo? What is going on? Because again, coming off the old Avatar, what's his name? The villain.
Quaritch?
Colonel.
Yeah, Colonel Quaritch.
I know he died. I saw him die. I watched Avatar many a times to see him take 2 arrows to the chest like a soldier. Like a soldier. He was ready, but he wasn't counting on. I love how they played it in this one too. When he looked at that arrow, he immediately caught flashbacks. Like, I remember this. I don't think y'all wiped my memory, but this is right there at the top of the funnel. I remember these arrows. And when he saw him again, he was like, oh shit. And your girl's like, yeah, she coming for you. I went into this blind, so I really didn't think he was alive until in the movie when he woke up. When he woke up and he was like, I was like, wait, Jake's waking up again. What happened to Jake? And then it all started to come. So I was pleasantly surprised by this. And I was thinking in the movie while I was watching the movie, better to bring back. You have an award-winning cast the first time around, and you brought everyone back, even if it was for short cameos. Words. It was good to see him again, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, knowing that this is a continuation story that was going on, I actually did go into this knowing that he would not die. He did not die. That's okay that he didn't die. I even understand the motivations of why Spider saved him. Because
he doesn't want to be his father.
But it's your dad, though. So, in a sense, Miles Spider type of situation, he couldn't go off planet because he was a baby. He knew who his father was.
Right.
But Jake didn't allude to that in the story. He was like, he was born on the camp. No one really know where he came from. He just loves our kids. He's around our kids all the time. We've kind of adopted him too.
Well, you would kind of think that because because of course if you watch the first Avatar, Jake came in because his brother had died. And Dr. Grace even said, I wanted the scientist and I got the soldier, and that's so not too long after being transported to Pandora, Jake Jake integrated himself with the Na'vi and started associating himself with them. So I don't think he really spent too much time with Quaritch. So maybe Jake just didn't know that was Quaritch's son in the beginning, but I would feel like at some point he would have found out. But for him to say that we don't know where he came from,
narrating,
right?
Hey man, you can't trust Jake.
So while we're on the topic of Jake and his narration, Sam Worthington, who plays Jake Sully. I've seen him. I've seen him in a few films. Yes, he was in Terminator. He was in Clash of the Titans.
Into
and the second one, right? Wrath of the Titans, I think it was. I don't like his acting.
God!
I don't think he's that great. I feel like him. So here's the thing: him doing his military jargon, calling the kids, telling them taking the squad up, calling out directives, calling out military planning. I feel like that is where he excels. When it comes to him trying to be heartfelt, when he's talking to Neytiri, trying to be emotional, talking about why they need to leave, trying to talk to his sons about why they need to be responsible, I think that's where his performance fell flat for me.
Ouch. Even in the blue skin, 7 foot, 8 foot tall Avatar, he wasn't giving it. He wasn't giving it to you.
No, I mean it's because you have some actors, they can make the jump between acting and live action.
About Andy Serkis. If you're talking about mocap. No,
not the mocap suits, but it's basically acting and live acting and then doing voice acting, because that's pretty much just what it all boils down to in the end is voice acting. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't drawing a comparison to him, but I'm just saying that there's a little bit of intonation that gets lost in voice acting, because even though they do their lines and everything while they're doing the motion capture, I don't think that those lines are actually recorded and put into the final production. I think that they all go through ADR and they have to voice their lines and everything, right? And so I think that some of that intensity, some of those emphases, some of that emotion gets lost for some people, not everybody, because I feel like Stephen Lang, who played Colonel Quaritch, I think he did fairly well. He was true to character.
Did he steal a show? You can go ahead and say it.
No, absolutely, he did not steal a show. He did not steal a show, but I still think that he did.
Borrowed a lot of it without asking.
But there was a there was because it's not even just Sam Worthington. I felt like Susan Sarandon's character Kitty, she some because it was weird, right? Because it was Susan Sarandon's voice, but it was
Caesar?
modulated a little bit.
Oh,
Kiri, the daughter, the older daughter,
yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it was
Caesar.
Susan Sarandon's voice, but it's modulated a little bit to sound younger, but it still sounded like Susan Sarandon. But in some scenes, it was just like I don't know. It's just like the dialogue. I don't know if it was I don't know if it was the voice acting or it was the dialogue or a combination of both. But there were a lot of scenes where the thing that they were saying fell flat. Because it's like when the boys were fighting, when they got to the Metakayan people and they were supposed to be making friends, trying to stay out of trouble, but the chief's sons and his friends, they were picking on him. They were picking on Kiri because they called her a freak because she was like communing with the nature and everything. And so Loak, of
Right.
course, he's sticking up for his sister, and Natayam, he comes because he's the bigger brother, so he has to step in and defend. And so when they're fighting, and
Hey,
Kiri
first
is
of all, let me say how cool that was that he says you want to see something.
I was like, yeah, you want to talk about my finger? You want to see what I can do with this extra finger? I can put my hand in a fist. He socked him right in the face.
He was not ready for that. He was really
No.
like
He
leaned
was
in.
really like,
He's
ooh, what can you
instantly
do?
Will Smith. All right, so welcome back to the show.
But yeah, but even in that
Uh,
scene, Kitty standing on the side, it's like, stop it, stop it. It's like even
that
that,
was so
it
weak.
just yeah, it was weak. It was like she wasn't really like putting any
Like,
emotion into it. Like,
stop.
stop
Like,
it.
y'all
Like,
need to
why are
go
you
go whoop
fighting?
his ass. Whoop
You
his ass.
boys are
Get
so
him.
dumb, right? But I did another thing I liked about that scene is that Natayam, the older brother, at first he was trying to get Loak to stop. He was like, like just chill. We're gonna walk away.
Yeah,
And so they
right.
started walking away, and then of course they say something else, and Loak was like,
Of course.
"Okay, all right, you want to keep talking? Let me show you what I can do." And so he hits him. They start fighting, and then the other two Metakayans start jumping in, and then Time is like, "Well, gotta jump in now," but he seemed like happy about it because like
Yep. Welcome to
it
the
is what it
show.
is, and so and then on top of that, when Jake is kind of chastising them for getting in trouble, he was like, "What is the one thing that I told you to do?" And it was like, "Stay out of trouble." And it's like you doing the exact opposite. And so he tells Loak to go apologize, but then before the
Right.
time like leaves, he stops him and is like, "Hey, hold up. So what the other guys look like?" And he's like, "Worse." He's like, all right, good shit. Like, go ahead. And that's like, I felt like that scene was something. It was like that was fatherly, right? That was like
Such
something
a
that what a father
dad
would
thing
do.
to do.
Like,
Of
don't fight
course.
people, but if you're going to fight, make sure that they
When?
end up worse than you do. Right? Exactly.
Right.
And then so
Listen.
it was like all of that was just hit and miss in so many different places for me.
Well, there was a lot going on in this 3 hour and 97
Right.
minute runtime of blue blue people from Las Vegas.
Blue people and other blue people.
Listen, this story, if nothing else, was about family
Family
without cars.
and
They
no
had family.
barbecues.
Listen, a lot of the stuff in the middle could have been shaved down, but really, if you get into the nuts and bolts about this story, it's a revenge story.
Mm-hmm.
It's a story with the camera pointed at us as humans, the things that we do, because everything that was in this movie based off something that's going on in reality or something that happened in reality, whether it be the bombing of indigenous people or the unethical whale hunting or all that other stuff that we do. James Cameron encapsulated it well in this movie. He has no problem saying, "Hey, you're the bad guy, audience." We're
Mm-hmm.
like, "Whoa, James Cameron, you could have had an outsider alien come and be the protagonist or the
Yeah, the antagonist.
antagonist for the movie, but no, he let it be us because again,
Humans are
whale
trash.
hunting. Oh my God, the whale hunting, we had to sit in that. And I'm not upset about it. It's a great reflection on some things that, you got to come out of this movie and take accountability of do you really need that perfume or cologne that made from That might be too meta for somebody. That might be too meta for. If this offends you, you're in the right place. So I just want you to know that, and I need you to hit the like and subscribe button because we're gonna talk about it in other videos. And humans, why else are we terraforming like other planets? Thanos was right. Should I say that? Should I say that? No, too soon. All right, you're still sensitive over the snap. Gotcha. So in Avatar, yes, we're still talking about Avatar. I think it's not a misstep. I think we told a complete story. Do you agree or disagree, Spider?
No, it's not a complete story because it's going
Because
directly
they
into
got
the
five more
sequel.
parts.
Well, technically three more since they already came out with two. But no, and it's not a complete story because we're left with knowing that there's going to be a continuation of what's happening. I felt like the first Avatar was a complete story. It's like whether we had a sequel or not, they ended it sort of full circle. Like the sky people came, Earthlings came to Pandora. They started searching for unobtainium. They were finding a way to integrate themselves with the Na'vi to commune with the people, basically just like, Europeans when they colonized America with indigenous people, try to figure out how to communicate with them, associate with them, barter with them, trade with them so they could, gain their trust, all this while stealing resources, right? But
Let's ask
when
this
they
question right now.
mm-hmm,
If aliens came out the sky to Earth
right.
and came in looking like they look, trying to get a human avatar to kind of blend in with us, communicate with us, trade with us, technologies that we don't have, teleportation, uh, artificial intelligence, solving things like world hunger, peace, you know, all these things that we say that we want, all these things that probably don't exist other places because they don't have those situations. Working with the governments because you got to work with the governments. That's not you're going to be labeled as an alien and they're going to try to take you out or study you.
Mm-hmm.
So once you come sharing this information, right? Are we going to trust them? Or as humans, as James Cameron say, are we going to kind of lay back in the cut and watch them and then figure out how we can take them out before the rest of them get here?
I think
What has history told us?
history has told us that humans are mistrusting by nature, and I think that no matter what type of species, I think that they would have to sincerely prove themselves that they're not a threat in order for, like you said, because it's I don't know. They would have to figure out how to show some type of goodwill. They're sharing their technology with us, but I think at the end of the day, in the back of everybody's mind, well, maybe not everybody, but in the back of some people's mind, there's still going to be that doubt because that's why you have conspiracy theorists, right? Because the whole thing with the government is put in place to serve the people, right? That's what the government is supposed to do. The government is supposed to serve the people. And then, of course, you have that's why I said supposed to. but then you have your conspiracy theorists that say, oh, well, the government is hiding, the existence of lizard people. There's Area 51 where the government is hiding alien secrets. There's been aliens that have come to Earth already. Right. And so, but then you think it's people like that who always are mistrusting of authority figures. They're mistrusting of anything new. They're mistrusting of technology. 5G towers give you cancer. They're putting, microchips into vaccines so they can track you wherever you go. All of this other kind of stuff. Just you're going to have people that don't trust. If we did come in contact with aliens, they did make it to Earth, they're sharing technology with us, there's still going to be people that don't trust them. No matter, they could cure all diseases, they could solve world hunger, they could solve homelessness, they could do everything that we wanted to do in order for us to achieve a more peaceful world. But you're still going to have people that
Superpowers?
do not trust them. Even superpowers. They could give people superpowers and people will still not trust them. They would think that there's some kind of underlying agenda. Why are they coming here? Why are they doing this? Why did they
Why they
leave
giving
their
out all
planet?
these superpowers?
Right,
You know, why
because
they just go get out?
nothing in life is free. That's the thing that we learned growing up. Nothing in life is free. If you get something,
Such thing
you
as a
have to
free
give
meal.
something. You know, and you may not have to give it now, but at some point you're going to have to pay for what you received. So
Mm. The superpowers have a cost. God
they always.
damn it. I'm trying to be a hero out here in these streets.
What movie was that?
Iron Man. Iron
No,
Man 2.
Doctor
Iron Man 3.
Strange. Doctor Strange,
Oh.
where Mordo told
The other Iron
Doctor
Man.
Strange, the other Iron
The
Man.
the magic Iron
The
Man.
magic Iron Man, not the technological Iron Man. But no, where Mordo told him that payment always comes due.
Bill comes due.
Right. Every time you mess with time, you mess with the fabric of reality, you're gonna have to pay for it. You may think that you saved everybody right now because you think that you did a good thing, but there's gonna be ramifications, which we found out in the Multiverse of Madness. That's when incursions happen. You know, so there's always a price to pay in the long run.
Incursion happens, and we're not gonna do this this episode. I thought incursion happens when you dream walk.
But I mean,
Not
they're
when you
still
mess
messing
with
with
time.
they're still messing with magic. It tapping into dark forces because what he was saying about the ancient one was tapping into the dark dimension in order to be more powerful, which is what Doctor Strange ended up doing. And so the bill
But at the
comes due
same time,
always.
they needed that energy, that power, that magic, that knowledge, that manipulation to defeat the current enemy.
I'm not
If
saying
they
that
had
I'm
not
not
did it,
saying that it wasn't effective. I'm not saying that it didn't work, but in the end, you're going to have to pay for what you did.
so the ends never are justified by the means.
Case by case basis. Now,
I
everything's
think
not that
that's
black and white.
relevant to Avatar though, because if you could stop aging 100% with a drop of this whale
Brain fluid. Mm-hmm.
that's going to pique the interest of a lot of people. It's self-preservation. If this whale that I know nothing about has to die, so I can live eternally, I don't even know that whale.
But then what happens when, okay, so two things. One, what happens when that species is hunted to extinction and there's no more brain fluid to go around anymore? Then what are you going to
That
do?
means that brain fluid is going up. The value just increased. I'm
Capitalism.
glad I got mine when it's discounted.
Second thing, and
Popcorn tastes better with butter.
it's following Thanos's mindset. When you have a species that is the dominant species of a planet and they're not dying out the way that they used to be dying out, now you have people living forever, they're going to be using up an infinitely greater amount of resources. And they're going to end up siphoning everything out of the planet quicker because people aren't dying anymore. Population is not dwindling. Population is just exponentially increasing, which leads them to having to go find another planet. And then all they're going to do is repeat the same process all over again because humans never learn.
Do you want them to die? Are you saying dead to the humans?
I feel like,
like something a robot would say.
I feel like I don't remember what movie or TV show this came from, and I'm pretty sure this is a quote that's been repeated over multiple properties, but death is what makes life worth living. If you could never die, then why are experiences one of a kind? Why do experiences have more meaning? You live because you know that you're going to die. You live your life. You achieve the things that you want to achieve.
The ability to be immortal, I would check that box off. I'm just too curious about technology and see what's coming in the future. I want to live it. I want the opportunity to live it. I want to see all four corners of the world and invest in the next big thing that's better than Bitcoin.
And so I guess, and this is where you get in the hypotheticals, because it's like, do you live forever with the knowledge that you will never die, like ever, or are you just extending your life, right? Because something can be said for extending your life, because you can
What
see.
do you mean?
So, say for example, instead of being immortal, right, you just have the ability to extend your life. So instead of dying at 93, you can live to be 240, right? But at some point,
All that
you're
sounds
still
good to
going
me.
to die.
Well, if it's well, they never said you become immortal. They
You
said it
just
stops
stop
aging.
aging, right?
Right. So you can still die. If you're dead, you're still not aging. You're dead. So
Right. So that's what
there's a
I'm saying.
difference
There's a
between living
difference between,
forever.
in my opinion, there's a difference between living forever and extending your life. Extending your life, yes, I can see the appeal in wanting to extend your life, to be able to experience more things, to see more things, to see your
Of
grandchildren grow up,
course.
your great grandchildren, your great great
Yes.
grandchildren, all of that stuff.
Yes.
But as far as being immortal is concerned, I feel like if you are the only one, like you said, if it's we see that, we don't know how much of the brain fluid that they use, but of course a vial is 80 something million. So if you are a person that can afford that,
I got
nine
two
times out of
comments.
10 you're buying it for yourself.
Of course.
You're not
Like
buying it
you
for
and
your
your loved
family,
ones.
you're not buying it for,
Oh,
well, I mean,
they owe you money.
but
Let
so
them buy their own.
you extend your life and you become immortal, if you're becoming immortal, but it's to the point to where everybody that you know around you
Will
is
die.
dying, and
That's
you're going to be left alone.
part of it. That's a
And
part of it.
that's the part that I don't want.
Here's another kicker. You'll live long enough to see their reincarnations. Somebody that you see that reminds you so much of them.
Is that
Mannerisms
what
the
you want?
same. Person. Do I want it? No, because chances are they won't be where I am.
Right.
I'm again at all four corners, so I'm not gonna see them regardless. No, no one wants to experience their loved ones dying and their friends and family dying around them. But again, the trade-off is they're gonna die. Same thing goes on in the mind of an astronaut when they go out of space. They're aging slower than the people on Earth. When they come back, time did not sit still. No, I'm not quoting Buzz and Lightyear. I'm saying this is how space travel normally works. So when you come back, you've aged. You haven't. It's the same kind of thing. It's 5 years in a blip with the snap. And yes, there's a lot of MCU references in here because we like the MCU. So you come back and they're older, you're younger. It's the same thing essentially. They could have died while you were gone. So you accept that it's the same thing when you go to war. You can accept that they come back and a loved one has passed. There's no telling when our time is. So I would want to live forever. Well, or at least have the extension of life. Because
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know when I'm gonna die. Spoiler alert, I don't know when I'm going to die. And I would like to do a lot of things before I die. I would like to see a lot of places and go a lot of places with my loved ones while they're here. And crazy part about the other side of that, you do have to live. And I know this one is way off what's going on, but it is relevant because we're talking about the brain juice from the well. You got to get to a point where you have to get out of the limelight or get out of sight because if you are seen as someone who has lived over 100 years, please believe they're trying to kill you. Like you're upsetting the natural balance of things.
Right.
Like, why is this guy still alive? Don't get me wrong, everyone loves Paul Rudd, but let him come out and say he's immortal. The guy's not aging, and there's a lot of other people that they're again conspiracy theorists. They're saying that has
Pharrell
already
is one of
lived.
them.
Pharrell looks young as hell.
Pharrell looks younger than he did when he was back with the Neptunes, almost.
Hey, keep making that music because I'm happy. That's all I'm saying. you're gonna get caught, and then they're gonna want to burn you at the stake or something medieval. There's always something medieval they want to do to somebody that lived forever. Like you have to
Dissect you and
die the
experiment
way
on you. Yeah.
you have to die the way that you're supposed to die in your times. Like we gotta hang you or we gotta nail you to the cross or something. Like why you just can't die? No, they're like nah. Gotta
You're
die
not
with a
from this
stake in your
time.
heart.
You were supposed to die in 1542, so you gonna die like you were
Exactly.
supposed to die in
Tie
1542.
you up to the railroad tracks. Like who's doing this? This is not how I'm supposed to go.
Can I just say that first of all, just going just to that trope of I don't know why that became a thing way back in the like the 1910s, 1920s where people were getting tied to railroad tracks for whatever reason.
Guys were doing that to their wives. I kid you not. I read that so many times. You would take your wife, tie her to the railroad tracks, and walk away. That's how you got a divorce. You say, I am a widower. I'm a widower. Like the man virgin. It's like, what happened to your wife? She caught a train and never came back. You murdered your wife.
That's
I know what
up.
you did last
That's
summer.
awful. So
It's
anyway,
awful.
back to the way of water.
There's no water on that train.
That won't help. That won't be enough.
He said a lot about this movie and got way off subject, but clearly the natives are going to fight. They have to fight. The sky people, or deemed sky people, humans, are not backing down. In fact, more ships are coming. It is not far-fetched to think that Colonel
Quaritch.
Y'all saw that? It was on time. Yeah. It's gonna change sides. Spider is the key to that. And how do you feel about having another spider in the same vicinity as you? Because just giving out names.
It was weird. I mean, James Cameron did call me back in 2012 and asked me if he could use, the name Spider. And I told him, it's like, yeah, I don't have a problem with it, but, just don't make it a thing. And so I think that's probably why Spider wasn't in it, like a lot, and out of respect to me, but so I appreciate that.
He was in it more than I was, so. Mr. VIP Frankie Washington seems like a weird name to have in that surrounding.
Yeah, it doesn't translate the same.
It was going to be the chief, the water people.
He was going to be Mr. VIP Frankie Washington.
Whole thing.
It didn't fit in, I don't feel like Mr. VIP Frankie Washington is a Metacayena name.
Simmons.
but no, I mean, and like I said, overall the movie was gorgeous. I saw it in Dolby, so of course it was the bigger screen, the higher frame rate, all this other kind of stuff.
I actually saw it in
darker
IMAX.
colors. Did you?
IMAX 3D.
Okay.
Yeah, I
heard 3D. I heard the 3D was great. I heard the 3D was amazing.
Listen, I took my eyeballs off and cleaned them and put them back in. The glasses, and then enjoyed the movie because that 3D effect was something else. It was something magical when they were in the water. I'm not going to take anything away from James Cameron. Look, the guy made Titanic interesting, okay? And a lot of those Titanic scenes end up being recycled in this version of the movie because when the boat was going down, we got those underwater. The guy knows what he's doing. He took that same imagery and kind of recapsulated it and gave you the blue people inside of it, and we felt something. I felt something. When did I think they were gonna die? No, because again, you can't go into this saying we got 4 pictures to do. Like, at the same time, I didn't think the older son was gonna die either.
I knew one of the kids was going to die. I didn't know if it was going to be the oldest son or if it was going to be the youngest son. I had an inclination that it was going to be the youngest son, just over the.
It was reckless.
Not that it was reckless, but in order for Jake to have some remorse into how he had been treating him the entire movie, right? Because he was always on him. I understand that he wanted him to be better. He wanted him to behave and all sorts of kind of stuff, but he never really showed Loak any compassion. Right, he showed the girls compassion. He showed Natayam compassion, compassion in the sense of you're the oldest. Like in the first battle when Loak, wanted to go down, he wanted to be a part of the action, so he went down, picked up a gun, they ended up getting blown up, and Natayam was like, he thought Natayam was dead, and so that was foreshadowing, right? And so we see that, of course, Jake cares about his kids, but I thought that because he was treating Loak like, he was basically treating him like an outcast and just kind of not really giving him any credit, especially when Loak was trying to tell him about the Cocoon, and like, no, he's not, a killer. He didn't kill his own, his own pod or his own people and everything like that. I want to tell you exactly what happened because I know firsthand. But Jake was like, no, that's enough. I'm not going to tell you again. Be quiet. You're talking back. You're being disrespectful. All this other kind of stuff. So I thought Loak was going to die to show Jake like, oh, I need to do better about not treating, because like Natiri said, this is not a squad. This is a family.
Right.
And you can't just treat us like military personnel. We are, your mate, your children. You have to have some type of nurturing behavior towards us, or else you're going to push everybody away. And so that's why I thought Loak was going to die to try to teach him that. Yeah, but you would think that. But you would think that in the over 10 years that it's been, that he would at least develop. because you would think he would be removed enough from that military experience. He's not a Marine anymore. He's,
it's a real question.
I don't know if he's the chief of the Matakaya now. So you would think that as chief, as married to Natiri, as a father, he would be a little bit more nurturing, be a little bit more caring, take the military tactics out of it sometimes to just be able to be a dad.
If he is going to stay the course of what you're saying, the jarhead, the military guy,
yeah, and I feel like even more now than ever, it's going to be Avatar 3 is going to be the same as Avatar 1. He's going to find other tribes to go join, get them trained up, so they can go to war with the Sky People again.
There's a desert tribe. There's a lava tribe. All the elements. Captain Planet.
All the elements. It's a different kind of Avatar.
All of them. Some of them's gonna have red skin. You'll see. James called me. He got it all laid out. What I'm saying is, you knew the Sky People were coming back, right? There's no secret. Jake knew the Sky People were coming back. He just didn't know when. Why weren't you training your sons to be better soldiers?
Because he didn't want them in a fight. That's all it boils down to. It's one of the tropes that I hate the most out of any TV, any movie. I'm not giving you additional information because I'm trying to protect you. And every time that happens, every time someone is so hell-bent on protecting somebody because of certain things, and you don't give them information, you don't give them training, you don't let them do the thing that they're passionate about, because Loak wanted to help. Loak wanted to be a better soldier. He was teaching Natayam how to be a better soldier. Natayam was the good son, the good soldier, the follower. He was the one who always in line, but he didn't show that same attention to Loak. But Loak wanted to. How do I get my father to notice me? Oh, I have to be a good soldier. I have to be able to participate. I have to be able to pull my own weight. So that's why he was going out, scouting places where he wasn't supposed to be. I want to be, impressive. I have to be able to make a good impression on my father. But every single time he tried to do that, he get himself in trouble, almost get captured, almost get killed. But that whole thing is that trope of I'm trying to protect you, don't do this because I want to protect you, it always ends badly. Maybe not for the person that they're trying to protect, but for somebody within that sphere. Somebody gets hurt, somebody ends up dying, all because, oh well, I was just trying to protect you, I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to be hurt. And I hate it. I absolutely hate it. This is my least favorite thing about anything in movies or TV ever.
If I tell you and you're still not ready for it, you're still going to get hurt.
But why, like you said, why not train him?
Again, that's the question that I'm asking because there's
Yeah, that's
no
what.
point in time
No,
that he did not
I'm
know
not
this
disagreeing
guy
with you.
people
I'm
was
just saying
coming
that
back.
that
He
was
knew this
his
guy people were
idea.
coming back, and even though you don't want them to use guns, because there was no indicator of guns before they came back. When
Hmm.
they came back, we kind of had a. They came back. They destroyed like their landing site, which gave them clearing. Robots immediately started putting up buildings. I was even saying when I was watching the movie, those buildings went up fast. And I'm
Yeah,
glad that they explained
they at
how the
least
buildings went up
touched on
fast.
it, right?
Right. So again, they're going to be the. I would not be surprised if it's
Oh, it's gonna be a
Wakanda,
whole, yeah, it's gonna be
a
a
whole
whole
city.
metropolitan cityscape by the time we get to
Yeah.
the
By
next
the
movie.
time like three comes along, you're gonna have highways. So I'm not surprised by that the way they were building the infrastructure. And again, it's not far fetched. If you've seen on the internet, there are a lot of robots that's building stuff now, and it takes a week to build like a skyscraper.
Yeah,
Made all
I've
with the
seen
robots.
how they're like 3D printing entire subdivisions now, and it's like you get a whole subdivision in like maybe a third of the time it would normally take.
It's crazy. So not far fetched from the future, but at the same time, now we're attacking these transports because they have a train, and that train came up fast, and they're trying to transport these weapons. We hit the depot or we hit the transport. Now we got weapons, and now we're using weapons. But at the same time, even before we had that, it should have been right there with the bow and arrow.
Hmm.
All these people are coming back, so why wouldn't you? I would even be training my daughters, to be able to defend themselves for one, and then they're coming. We know they're coming, and I would have think the movie would have took a totally different shift of knowing that they're coming, and then Jake going do what he's going to do in three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, and 10 because it's about family, uniting these tribes and having him go through the test of what's the Ring of Fire? It's in Nemo. You have to jump to the volcano just to get the respect of the volcano. The Terry, Nabu, the blue people, the
Navi.
people. That's what I wouldn't have said. Oh, but you know the sky people are coming. Didn't like this. Didn't like Jake was already established as a fighter. You don't understand it. Now he's a coward. Now he's running. When you know that you cannot run from them. They're here. They're not dead. They're not gone. You're really grabbing guns to kind of protect yourself. At the same time, now all of a sudden it's like we gotta run. We can't fight. When your wife's
So
saying we have to fight,
I
why are we not fighting?
I
It's already a threat. It
understand,
was already that's the reason they brought the colonel in because Jake's
right?
tactics was guerrilla warfare. He was hitting deep holes. You couldn't go to this area because the wildlife was start attacking. And so they were kind of content with staying right there, building out slowly. But you bring the colonel in and the crew, just your mission, go find Jake and take him out.
Right.
So what you were doing was working, but now you're hauling tail. I didn't get that part.
Because because he saw that there were reinforcements now. And so he knew that things were going to escalate. And if
Right.
things were
He's
going to
trying to save
escalate,
his family.
right. And it's not only that he was trying to save the family, but he also was trying to protect the rest of the people in his tribe because he knows that if he would have stayed and when they came looking for him, we saw that there was some that died because, like he told Loak and he told Natayam, you guys didn't complete your mission. You were supposed to be spotters. You were supposed to be scouts. And because you weren't there, people died. And he knows that if they're coming with reinforcements, they're coming with bigger ships. He knows that they're going to be coming with more firepower and they're going to be coming after him. So even more people are going to die and that's going to be out of his control. But if he leaves,
You don't think they
he
died
leaves.
when he wasn't there?
No, I mean, he wants to prevent more death.
You don't think they died? I don't think they died in it. Not only did they die, they had nobody to help rally them and protect them. I'm talking about the
No,
forest people.
because at least from what they showed, Quaritch never even made it back to the village. Because first of all, Spider didn't give him a Spider. God bless him. The kid's tough. They
Oh,
tried
he got
torturing the
your
hell out
name,
of him.
so you know. That gotta count for something. No, I'm pretty
that
sure
was
you talked to
that was
James
part of my
about this.
production notes that I gave to James Cameron. I was like, you
Hey,
know, if
can't
he's
be a
got to be a
pussy.
badass. He's got to be a
Right.
badass. I mean, the whole
Right.
all of that. Yet I didn't tell him about that. He should have just cut that
I
out.
felt like I wanted to just spray some chloroseptic in there, clear all that up. Chloroseptic should have sponsored that movie. You just, oh, okay.
But no, because of Spider not giving them the location of where they were specifically, and then even when they were going back into the forest to try to find them, and they were like, all right, and Quartz was like, hey, we got to go full native. We have to eat Navi, drink Navi, sleep Navi. We have to be them, and that's the only way that we're going to be able to infiltrate them. So he started talking a language, and Spider was like, okay, you think you're going to infiltrate them talking like that? You sound like a 3-year-old. He's like, all right, Hotshot, since you know everything, show me how it's
Yeah, we'll
done.
translate,
So
right.
he took them on that sort of training, adventure of how to tame the birds and, do all of that stuff. And then in the interim of them doing that, that's when Kiri had her stroke, and so they had to get Norm to go fly out there, and that's when they found, tracked the helicopter, and they're like, okay, well, they went out to these islands, so obviously they're somewhere out there. So they never even made it to the forest to his tribe. So I don't think anybody that was in the forest tribe got attacked or killed or anything like that.
You are absolutely right, but let's not ignore that the development is moving outward. So it's only a matter
True.
of time before it hits that border of where they
Right.
are, and even if they fight back, they still have well enough assault equipment to mow down that forest. I
Yeah.
think they could. I don't know. Maybe it happened off screen. Maybe it didn't happen at all. You needed a leader, and even though Jake took his crown off and they adopted somebody else as the new chief, don't have the military experience that Jake has.
No.
Didn't have the military presence to be able to win that fight in case they do come out and attack the village. And even
True.
though the queen of the water tribe clearly says you're gonna bring that war here. And when they started coming around that bend, I was just waiting for her to say, I told you. I told you was gonna bring that nonsense here. We don't want that.
Right.
They waited. And I will say this, I like how the fact that the chief knew what happened in the neighboring village.
Mm-hmm.
Like how they were loyal to the chief enough to say they didn't say anything because I asked them not to say anything.
Right.
That's real loyalty right there.
Yeah.
But even though that has happened, it still is like, well, I guess we got to find somewhere else to go because they coming. Tell your people hide, and I guess we go ahead and get out of here. And it took the chief to say, "Dude, you live here." Now, there's no
Right.
exaggeration on exactly on how much time they stayed there, but he clearly accepted them and is like, "You're one of us." So you about to bounce? What's going on? I opened up my house to you, and now there's an enemy at the gate. You saying I'm out? Is
Right.
this the legend that I've heard about? And even
Are
the
you
kids,
Toruk Bakto?
yeah, even the kids were disappointed in what was going on. Cause like, come on, Jake, it's like you already know you're gonna have to pick up a rock. I done seen this dude take a rock to a tank, knock out some cameras, and you started growling and stuff. And now you just
Yeah.
okay. I understand. Had to happen for the movie, but at the same time, you can't egress the character development that was already established. Don't get me wrong, this movie is about family, but you have to make it make sense. Make it so that he is being backed into a corner. You, you, you didn't have to lose a son before you turned around and decided to say it's time to fight. And
Right.
speaking of losing a son, shout out to Zoe Saldana.
I
Oh,
wanted to make sure
oh my
that
God.
I wanted to make sure that we touched on this before we wrapped up.
Oh my
But
God.
so it's twofold, right? Because I feel like one, she was grossly misunderused in this film.
She was
Like
definitely.
she
I didn't
really
realize
took a
it was
back
at all.
seat to everything else that was going on. But when she
I'm
was on
okay with
camera,
that though,
I
because it
wanted
gave
them.
us
I
some more
wanted her to
time
be
with the
more
kid.
part. No, and I do, because like when you said that Courage stole the show, I don't think Courage stole the show. I absolutely think that the kids stole the show. The movie was absolutely about the kids. It was the kids' story,
Damn.
and I appreciate that. But I do still wish that we would have gotten more from Zoe Saldana, because really all we got was her sort of disagreeing with what Jake wanted to do, and she cried. That was literally like almost everything that we did with her.
Right?
But that being said, when
And
Natayam
she showed
died
up.
and she wailed for her son, but when Jake said, I need you, because first of all, the Metakayan people, where did they go? Because they were there. They were fighting. The Tukun was like going free willy on everybody, taking the boats out. They were fighting and everything. When the eclipse happened and it got dark, you look back. I look back and you were gone.
That's what they did right then. When that clip was just like that, they were gone.
Oh my god! So I don't know where they went, but Jake basically told
They went home.
like we did what we had to do. We avenged our dead whale, so we out. The hunters were dead, so that was all that they had to worry about.
Oh, he died horribly. This little hand went all this way while his body went the other way.
See, and it's the thing about villains as far as the movie go, because you have like sympathetic villains. Because we saw Quaritch, he made it clear. He said, "I'm not that colonel." When he said, "He's not my son, I'm not that colonel." When he got to where the original Colonel Quaritch died in the first Avatar, he watched the recording of exactly what happened, picked up the skull, crushed it.
Right.
Powerful scene, because that's basically distancing himself from that character. So the motivations that character has or had, I don't have them. The traits that character had, I may be similar to them, but I'm not him. So he had his own, it's a way of reinventing the character without actually reinventing him, because it's like introducing a new character, but it's still the same character. But he made it known that, I'm not him. That's not me. And so you get to see his relationship develop with Spider. He was like, even when Spider was in lockup, he was like, these are your daddy's tags. I'm not your daddy. I'm not related to you. So I don't care if you stay in here or not. But if you want to get out, I can get you out. And so, but we see, even like going through, he's not a caring or compassionate father up until we get to the scene where Neytiri is like, a son for a son. You killed my son, or you're the reason that my son is dead. I know this is your son. I will kill him in front of you, and I don't care. When
she don't.
And the thing about it is that, even again, going back to foreshadowing, she was kind of wary about him, like all the way back in the beginning, because Quaritch was the reason that her dad died. Right. And looking at Spider is a constant reminder of Quaritch.
Right.
He's still like, he's a demon. He's one of the sky people.
He needs to be with his own people.
Right. He needs to be with his own people. So she never really wanted him. And even when Natayam died, they were all on the rock hugging and everything. Not one single person said, "Where's Spider?" Like, even as much as Kiri cared about Spider, nobody said, "Where's Spider?" But just like we were talking about the motion capture, about, you referencing Andy Serkis and the performance that he can give in motion capture, the dead look on Neytiri's face. When Jake said, "I need you. It's just you and me. We have to go into this fight together. So I need you." Like, he's saying, "I understand you're grieving, you're sad, but right now I need you to kind of put that aside because we have to go fight." And her blank expression, like the tears, like, cause they, like, cause normally when you cry, you have like your tears in the corner, but it was like just like all under her eyes, just wet. but the look, it was like the darkness mixed with the reflection from the fire.
In the audience, feeling sorry for everybody that was on that boat. I was like, get off the boat. Get off the boat. I don't care if you have a life jacket, just jump off. You have a better chance of swimming with the whales and the sharks and anything else in that water. If you on that boat when she get there, you will not want to be there. And she did not disappoint. It was torture emotional when she was killing everybody on that goddamn ship.
Here's my thing. I understand the idea of being a loyal soldier, but the Na'vi are what, 9 feet, 10 feet tall?
Something like that, yeah.
So the arrows that she's shooting at them are probably like a good 5 foot long arrow.
Oh, she's shooting trees.
Pretty much. But you, as a human soldier, are going to come after her. No equipment, no machine, no robot suit, no nothing. When she shot that arrow into that person and he just went, it's took him back. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Why? What did you really think was gonna happen?
The best thing I seen is your boy in Iron Man 3. He's like, these guys are so weird.
It's you know what? These people are weird. I don't want nothing.
I don't want nothing to do with it. I'm gone. Look, do you
I answered one ad. I was just trying to get my baby some Christmas presents. And you know what?
Good.
I'm out.
I'm out. I'm not about to die for this cause. What? They don't even share none of that whale brain juice with me. What? I had to stay home. But she slaughtered that. Oh my god! The only thing that stopped her was her bow broke.
Yeah, really.
That's the only thing that slowed her down. Oh my god! It was horrible.
And it's you think you take a second and you think about everything that Neytiri has lost. You know, she lost her father, she lost the World Tree, she lost a lot of her people in that, in the first battle. Now she's losing her home because she has to move. Yeah. Now she didn't lost her son. Now she lost the bow. Yeah, lost some more people. And then now she lost her son. Now she lost the bow that her father made her last connection to her father.
And she lost some of her beads too that was on her necklace and her hair. And she lost.
I don't think she's that broken up about that.
I saw it in the water. I was like, "Oh, she go get revenge for that shit." You don't just take a Avatar beads.
last thing that I want to touch on before we wrap up. Did it at all come as a shock to you that Kiri is the Immaculate Conception of Eywa? She's Eywa reincarnated.
First of all, I just want to take this time out to say I've been saying the wrong name the whole show. I've been saying something else. Or maybe I said Eywa correctly. I guess you would have to go back to the beginning and watch the show again to see if
I didn't even pick up on it if you did.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Chances are I'm not. Immaculate Conception of a Planet. Well, Eagle's out here impregnating planets already. So
yeah,
Celestial's out here impregnating planets. It's not a shocker to me as a general audience goer. Again, James Cameron took a lot of tropes and put them all in the Avatar soup. Alien water. Sorry, I mean native water. No, I'm not. I'm not. I don't have the big mystery. I guess, that's gossip. Who's your baby daddy? I don't know. That sounds like a Maury Povich show episode. Eywa, you are the father or mother, or because they always refer to
you're the parent.
You're the parent. Right. You're the guardian. So if a planet impregnated a dead lady and had a blue mutant baby, it's Avatar. I'm okay with it.
Because they really didn't explain how, because they tried to put Grace's consciousness into her avatar because she was dying. She got shot.
Right.
It didn't work. It didn't take her. That's what gave them the idea to do it for Jake. But they never really explained how Grace's avatar got pregnant, since they never were able to transfer the consciousness over into the avatar.
Somebody slept with a corpse.
You know what?
And then they had some While Juice is in there. So,
No.
dude, I mean, she was already dead in the first movie. This is what I'm saying.
No, I agree.
Continuity matters. Okay, so now she's not even dead. She's in a tank, which okay, she's alive in the tank now. She was dead in the tank. Her daughter comes in and she talks to her mother. So,
Right.
again, I hope she's good because hopefully we get to see her outside of the tank. We did get foreshadowing of that in the vision that she was having when she connected her box braid to the
To the kelp.
the underwater root kelp, and again, the whole planet is connected. So can it impregnate? Yes, we got Gaia now. She's Gaia now, and when she helps,
Essentially, yeah.
she helped unite all the Captain Planet four corners of the world. We're gonna
All the rings.
a big kaiju fight, and at the end of it all,
Do you think that's where Avatar 3, 4, and 5 is going? That there's going to be a big kaiju fight in the end?
if not, there's a great.
It's going to be like a Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla type thing.
It's a missed opportunity if they don't go there. Avatar, Way of the Water, Spider. What's a 3 hour and 9 minute runtime? I'm sorry, the 6 hour and 17-minute runtime super.
The runtime absolutely was not super. The runtime was not super at all. That was probably the least likable thing about the movie. The movie itself wasn't super. I will say this.
We go.
So for all of the line delivery problems, for all of the plot problems, for all of the inflated scenes and everything,
Ooh, yeah,
I would say that it's still a super film because I was still entertained. I still the action scenes the action scenes were outstanding. You know, the fighting, the of course the water exploration was gorgeous. The water exploration was gorgeous. It was too long, but that does not take away from how great everything looked. So I would say after all is said and done, it is absolutely a movie that you should go see. If you have not seen it already, it is super. The runtime, I can't remember the last time I sat in the movie and I was like, oh my God, this is still going on. How much longer do we have left? I don't have a watch, but if I would have had a watch, I would have been looking at my watch. I didn't, of course, I'm not the type of person to take out my phone in the middle of a movie, but I wanted to desperately just so I could see how much time we had left in the film. But it's if I feel like if it would have been a shorter film, it would have been near perfect, because I feel like a lot of the things that were negatives about the movie were because you had to hit there was that runtime that they had to hit, and it was just that
originally the first cut is like 9 hours long. They had to trim it down.
They had to trim it down. They should have did some more trimming. But with all of that being said, I still feel like the film was super, and like I said, it's a must see. If only for the visuals and the CGI alone. It's something that everybody I feel needs to witness. They need to observe that. They need to see it because it's a labor of love. This is, like we said, it's been 13 years since the last one, and this is the product of what happens when you take the time to be able to develop something, to be able to put the love and the care and attention to it, to make sure that everything looks perfect. And just about everything looked perfect. But I will ask you, Mr. VIP Frankie Washington, when it comes to Avatar, Way of the Water, or The Way of Water, is it super?
Let me drink some water real fast. Oh, that's that Mississippi mud right there. Brown water.
Ugh.
Yeah. Yes, it's super. Let me tell you why. One of my favorite scenes on there when I was actually, because I talked about Jake being a coward for the whole movie, and then at the end, when the colonel was like, "I will never stop hunting you down. I am coming for you. There's no way you can run." And Jake was like,
And you turn around. Let's finish this then.
Well, let's get it done then. I was like, let's go, Drake.
I
go.
did that. That was a highlight for me as well.
Yeah, it was
that
like,
that line delivery was on point.
Makes no sense for me to go there. Well, let's get it done. Because then one of us got to die. Let's get it done then. Because I'm not about to let you take not another one of my children away from me. All the time, let's get it done. And that was the moment for me to say, yes, this goddamn movie is super, because you can't run from this shit. You already know it's here. Even if you kill him, you still got a whole metropolitan of people over there in Manhattan that they're building. Goddamn property taxes going out the wazoo. I can tell you that right now. So you're going to have to face this sooner or later. Might as well start now. I love the visuals. Period. If you don't love the visuals, that means you clearly can't see. Take your eyeballs out like I do, rub them off, put them back in your head, and watch the visuals. It's eye candy at the highest level. Here's my thing. You guys know me. You know I'm all about the story. Again, you got all these tropes and all these stories, and you put them in the Avatar gumbo and you mixed it up. But I was still entertained, like Spider said. There's this, there's that, there's a and a all of that's there for you. Get it?
If you have not seen Avatar, none of that will make sense.
Listen at everybody these days because I don't have no chloroseptic to get that out. Go see it. I mean, if you watched us and you watched us for this long, should already. The only reason you didn't see it is because you just wanted to see us, and we're telling you to go see it. And then after you see it, come back and watch this again and see how wrong we were about saying certain things, or how right we were. Oh, well, it happened.
So right.
Again, this show's not scripted, so that's a part of the appeal of the show. You get honest conversations about what we're talking about. And at the same time, we hope that you enjoy the conversations that we have. But if it comes down to Avatar, we're in the water. Go see this thing. Just bring a blanket and a pillow because you might need a nap. Not really because it's boring, because you're going to get comfortable watching a 9-hour movie and you might doze off every once in a while. But when you wake up, you'll be pleasantly surprised at the eye candy that James Cameron was able to put together. Can't wait to see that Power Ranger ring to make the Voltron, Megatron to you see it. It's coming.
I don't know where you're going.
All these exosuits. You don't see all these exosuits. The other general was drinking coffee. Exosuit. Her exosuit was way smaller and lighter than the one that was in the first one. So
because that one was meant for just moving around, not necessarily for. Well, the one that the general was in was for moving around, not necessarily for combat.
The Colonel wasn't gonna give Jake no legs anyway. We're talking about Avatar 1. He promised Jake legs. He wasn't gonna give Jake no legs anyway. He just didn't go those legs in front of Jake like that was a consolation prize. I would have turned on them too. Plus, you had some sweet blue tail that was, native, happened to be the princess of the tribe. You was gonna get. Hey, man. Colonel like rose before, and Jake was like, nah. I'm trying to see what that Avatar like. You know what I'm saying? Trying to populate.
I mean, essentially, yeah. Essentially, yes.
I'm not wrong.
You're not wrong.
So go and see it. The word
2 years. 2 years. We get 2 years. We get the next Avatar. Avatar 3, and I think that there was a leak about the subtitles for all of the next movies. So I think Avatar 3 is supposed to be the Seed Bearer.
Seed Bearer?
Yeah.
I thought it would have been like the Sands of Time or something.
No.
Avatar 4.
If I remember correctly, I think Avatar 3 is the Seed Bearer.
What was Avatar 4? Seed Giver?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
The Secret Garden? I don't know, James Cameron. Whatever names you decide you want to give your project, we're here for it. I will go see it because again, now we're invested in the family. We have a loss in the family. We don't want to lose anybody else. We want to see Sigourney Weaver come out of that cocoon that she's in, so she could be the new Adam Warlock. Then we want to see where the rest of the story goes. Does Spider get his own avatar?
That's a good question. Avatar 3 will be the Seed Bearer. Avatar 4 will be the Cocoon Rider, and Avatar 5 will be the Quest for Awa.
Okay. Oh,
Does Spider get his own avatar? No, I don't think he does.
yeah, I think he's going to get one. He's been envious about everybody's abilities, and he doesn't have it. That's a natural arc for him. I cannot see him not getting one at some point in time. They have the technology, so just about.
Yeah, but that would mean that he would have to go back to the humans to go get a body made for him.
Meaning what? His dad's already there, greasing that wheel.
I don't think that he.
I think if he's close to death,
I don't think
he'll
so.
100% his body in an avatar. I mean, alone,
I don't know.
it's Avatar, so
It is Avatar,
fit.
but we'll see. But if you like this video, go ahead, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell so you can be notified. Jesus Christ, click the bell so you can be notified when we have new episodes that come out. If you want the audio version of the podcast, just search for All Things Super on your favorite podcast streaming platform. And if you want to join in on a conversation, just tweet at us at ATSuperPod. But yeah, leave us a comment. Let us know what you thought about Avatar: The Way of Water. Let us know what you thought about this episode. We love reading the comments. But yeah, let us know what you thought. What if you had any gripes, if you had any complaints, if you had anything that you didn't really particularly like, and just tell us what you loved about the movie, and also what you loved about this episode.
Eyeball candy. If my eyes could lick the screen, that's what it was. It was so visually beautiful. Story-wise, it made me hate everyone else that was in the theater with me because I know I wasn't the only one that wanted some of their sweet well juice. Stop aging. Then
Clearly, I need to just shut up.
What you said, I wish my eyeballs could lick the screen. I think that's when your camera was like, you know what? No, we're going to cut them off. But that'll do it for our episode this week. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. But we will see you all in the next episode.